He believed in alarms set at the same time every morning, सुबह के 5:30 बजे sharp. He believed in the discipline of black coffee without sugar. He believed in efficiency, performance, measurable results. His calendar was blocked in 15-minute segments. His life ran like the algorithms his tech company designed. Routine had built his empire. Routine had protected him from grief. After the accident 5 years ago, when his wife and daughter had been driving home along the coastal highway and a storm slicked and changed everything, Daniel had made a decision. He would not fall apart. He would not let emotions destroy what he had built. His wife didn't survive. His daughter, Lily, did, but she lost her sight. And Daniel lost something invisible, the part of him that knew how to feel without control. Now, the mansion was immaculate. Staff members moved quietly like shadows. Shoes never echoed, doors never slammed, laughter never lingered, except sometimes, faintly, from one small room at the end of the west wing. Lily's room. On a cool Monday morning in early autumn, a new housekeeper stepped through the mansion's tall iron gates for the first time. Sofia Ramirez paused briefly at the entrance, staring up at the enormous windows reflecting the pale sky. She adjusted the strap of her worn leather bag and inhaled deeply. She wasn't intimidated by the size of the house. She was determined. At 24, Sofia had learned early that life rarely waited for comfort. She had moved north from Los Angeles after her mother's medical treatments drained their savings. She needed stability, and this job offered more than she had ever earned before. Still, as she stepped onto polished marble floors, she felt the weight of something heavier than luxury. This house was quiet in a way that felt unnatural. The head housekeeper gave her instructions in a low voice. Mr. Whitmore doesn't like noise. The west wing is private. The music room is cleaned daily but not used. And never disturb Miss Lily unless requested. Sofia nodded, but she noticed something else. No photographs on the main hallway walls, except one. A framed portrait of a smiling woman seated at a grand piano, a little girl beside her, hands reaching for the keys. Dust clung to the edges of the frame. 3 days passed. Sofia worked carefully, methodically. She polished silver fixtures, vacuumed thick carpets, wiped fingerprints from glass railings. The mansion gleamed, but every afternoon, around the same time, she heard something. A faint, uneven sound. Not music exactly, more like someone touching keys without pressing them fully. On the third day, curiosity pulled her down the long hallway toward the music room. The door was slightly open. Inside, sunlight streamed across a glossy black grand piano, untouched except for a thin layer of new dust she had cleaned that very morning. On the bench sat Lily. Her small frame was straight but hesitant. Her fingers hovered over the keys, barely brushing them. She wasn't playing, she was searching. Sofia stood frozen at the doorway. You can come in, Lily said softly, without turning her head. Sofia blinked. How did you know I was here? You breathe like you're holding questions, Lily replied. Sofia stepped inside slowly. I'm Sofia. I know, Lily said. You hum when you fold laundry. Sofia felt her cheeks warm. She hadn't realized she hummed old Spanish lullabies while working. Lily's hands moved gently across the keys. My mama used to play, she whispered. I remember the vibrations. I used to sit under the piano and feel the floor shake. Sofia's chest tightened. Do you want to play? Sofia asked gently. I don't know how, Lily admitted. Dad says we can hire a teacher. But teachers talk too much. They describe notes like colors. Sofia smiled softly. Music isn't colors, it's movement. She walked closer and sat beside Lily on the bench. May I? Sofia asked. Lily nodded. Sofia pressed a single key. The sound rang out, clear and bright. Lily flinched slightly, then smiled. Again, she whispered. Sofia played a simple melody. Not a complex classical piece, just a soft, flowing tune her grandmother had once taught her. The mansion reacted. Sound filled corners that had long been empty. Lily's hands lifted slowly, touching the keys as Sofia played. Place your fingers here, Sofia guided gently, positioning Lily's small hands over middle C. Lily pressed down. The note sounded. Her lips parted in surprise. It answered me, she said. Sofia laughed quietly. Yes, pianos answer when you're brave enough to ask. They tried again, and again. The melody stumbled at first. Lily pressed too hard, then too soft. She missed keys entirely, but Sofia never corrected sharply. Listen, she said instead. Feel the space between the notes. Minutes turned into nearly an hour. Neither noticed footsteps approaching down the hallway. Daniel Whitmore had returned home early that afternoon, an unusual disruption to his rigid schedule. A cancelled board meeting left him restless. He wasn't prepared for what he heard. Music. Real music. His jaw tightened. No one was permitted to touch that piano. He stepped silently toward the music room, anger rising with each note. But as he reached the doorway, he stopped. Lily was laughing. Not a polite smile, not a small giggle, but open, free laughter that echoed against marble walls. Sophia leaned close, guiding her hands patiently. "You don't need to see the keys," Sophia whispered. "They're just shapes. You already feel the rhythm." Daniel felt something unfamiliar move through him. He had spent years building habits to survive, work, control, distance. He provided everything, but he hadn't provided this. He watched Lily straighten her back, press a small sequence of notes correctly, and clap her own hands in excitement. "Dad used to say practice makes perfect," Lily said suddenly. Daniel's breath caught. "I don't want perfect," she continued softly. "I just want to remember." Sophia didn't respond with advice. She simply began playing again, softer this time. Daniel stepped back into the hallway, unseen. He pressed his palm against the cold wall. For 5 years, he had avoided this room. Avoided the piano. Avoided memories that threatened his discipline. But now the sound followed him down the corridor. And for the first time since the accident, the silence inside his home had been broken. Not by noise, but by hope. He stood there longer than he intended. Listening. And something inside him, something long buried beneath routine and responsibility, began, quietly, to awaken. The next evening, something unusual happened in the Whitmore mansion. At exactly शाम के 5:12, Daniel Whitmore closed his laptop mid-email. His assistant blinked in surprise. "Sir, the Singapore investors, reschedule," Daniel said calmly. This was not part of the system. For years, Daniel had stayed at the office until after रात के 8 बजे. Work was structure, work was safe, work didn't ask him emotional questions. But at शाम के 5 बजने में 13 मिनट बाकी the day before, standing unseen outside the music room, he had heard something that disrupted 5 years of carefully built routine. Lily's laughter. And now, that sound replayed in his mind louder than any boardroom presentation. He arrived home before sunset. The staff noticed. No one commented. As he stepped inside, he didn't go to his study. He didn't remove his jacket. He followed the music. This time, the melody was clearer. More confident. A simple tune repeated again and again, imperfect but determined. Daniel slowed near the half-open door. Inside, Lily sat straighter than he had seen her in years. Her fingers moved with cautious memory across the keys. Sophia sat beside her, not touching her hands this time, only listening. "You found it again," Sophia encouraged softly. Lily smiled. "It feels like walking without bumping into walls." Daniel stepped into the room. Both girls turned toward the sound. Lily's fingers froze mid-note. "Dad," she asked quietly. Daniel cleared his throat. He suddenly felt less powerful than he did in front of a room full of investors. "I heard improvement," he said carefully. Sophia immediately stood. "Sir, if this is inappropriate." "No." His voice softened. "Please, continue." The word hung in the air. "Please." It wasn't a word Daniel used often. Lily hesitated. "You don't mind." Daniel stepped closer to the piano. The scent of polished wood and faint lemon cleaner filled the space. The instrument he had treated like a fragile museum piece now looked alive. "I mind that I haven't been in this room in 3 years, he admitted quietly. Silence followed. Then Lily did something unexpected. She slid slightly to her left on the bench. "Making space for you," she said simply. Daniel stared at the empty space beside her. 5 years ago, he would have sat confidently and played alongside his wife. Back then, music had been background noise to a happy home. But grief had turned music into memory. And memory had turned into avoidance. He slowly removed his suit jacket and placed it over the back of a nearby chair. Sophia watched carefully but said nothing. Daniel sat. The bench felt smaller than he remembered. "I don't remember where middle C is," he admitted. Lily grinned. "I do." She reached out and placed his finger gently on the correct key. "Here." He pressed it. The note rang out, steady and clear. The sound vibrated through the wood, through his fingertips. Through him. For a moment, no one moved. "Again," Lily said. Daniel pressed it again. This time, Lily matched him. 2 notes. Side by side. Not perfectly synchronized, but together. Sophia quietly joined in, adding soft harmony around them. The music swelled gently, wrapping around the room like warm light. Daniel missed a note. Lily giggled. "You were offbeat, Dad." "I run billion-dollar meetings," he replied dryly. "Timing is usually my strength." "Not here," Lily teased. And Daniel laughed. A real laugh, not the polite, controlled chuckle he used at business dinners, but a surprised, unguarded laugh that made Sophia glance up. It changed his face. For the next 20 minutes, they practiced the same short sequence. Daniel's hands were stiff at first, fingers pressing too hard as though authority alone could command harmony. But gradually, something softened. He began listening instead of controlling, adjusting instead of demanding. When Lily hesitated, he waited instead of correcting. When she succeeded, he clapped lightly, not loudly enough to startle her, but enough for her to feel pride. At one point, Lily paused and tilted her head slightly. "You're smiling," she said. Daniel blinked. "How do you know?" "I can hear it." Sophia looked down to hide her smile. Music ended only when Lily yawned. Daniel walked her to her bedroom himself, another break from habit. Normally, a nanny handled bedtime routines. He sat beside her bed as she settled under soft blankets. "Dad." "Yes." "Are you going to work late tomorrow?" The question was small, but heavy. Daniel looked at her hands resting peacefully over the blanket, the same hands that had trembled over piano keys days ago. "No," he said firmly. "I'll be home." She smiled and turned her head toward him. "I like when you're here." The words pierced deeper than any criticism he had faced in his career. After she fell asleep, Daniel stood alone in the hallway for a long moment. Sophia quietly approached from the other end. "I hope I didn't overstep," she said softly. Daniel shook his head. "You stepped exactly where I should have years ago." He looked toward the music room. "I built my life on habits," he continued. "Wake early, work harder, provide more. I thought consistency in business would solve everything." Sophia listened respectfully. "But I forgot," he said slowly, "that love also requires repetition." He met her eyes. "You practiced patience with her every day. That's why she improved." Sophia nodded gently. "Confidence grows where attention goes." Daniel absorbed that. The next morning, something shifted permanently. At सुबह के 5:30 बजे, his alarm rang as usual. He turned it off, but instead of immediately checking emails, he walked to the balcony overlooking the ocean. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to simply stand there, without agenda. At शाम के 6 बजे that evening, he was home again. And the evening after that. And the one after. Soon, the staff began setting dinner for 3 instead of 1. The piano was tuned professionally. Dust no longer gathered on its surface. Music became part of the mansion's daily rhythm, not a rare interruption. Daniel still led meetings, still made strategic decisions, still expanded his empire, but every day at शाम के 6 बजे, he left. Because he had discovered something powerful. Success is built by habit. But so is connection. And for the first time since the accident, Daniel wasn't just surviving his routine.